The First War of Scottish Independence took place between 1296 and 1328. The Battle of Stirling Bridge was one of several military campaigns during the war. John Balliol was installed as a puppet king of Scotland by Edward I of England in 1292. Failing to support the English king in his war against France, Edward I invaded Scotland. In 1296, Balliol was defeated at the Battle of Dunbar by John de Warenne, 6th Earl of Surrey. Balliol was forced to surrender to King Edward I at Brechin on July 10, 1296. By 1297, Andrew Moray began a revolt in northern Scotland. By the end of the summer, having regained Scottish control of several cities, he headed towards Dundee. At Dundee, Moray's army was joined by William Wallace and his forces. On September 9, 1297, the English arrived at Stirling and were on the opposite side of the bridge across the river. For the Kingdom of England, the commanders were John de Warenne and Hugh de Cressingham. Moray and Wallace were already encamped at Abbey Craig and served as commanders for the Kingdom of Scotland. On September 11, 1297, the English attempted negotiations prior to crossing. 2 Dominican friars were sent as emissaries to the Scots, to which Wallace is said to have replied, "We are not here to make peace, but to do battle, to defend ourselves and liberate our kingdom. Let them come on, and we shall prove this to their very beards." The bridge was only wide enough for 2 horses side by side, rendering the approach from the English slow. Wallace and Moray waited until as many of the English crossed the bridge that they could reasonably attack. With roughly 2,000 English across the bridge, the Scots launched their offensive. The English were decimated as they crossed over the bridge by the Scottish pikemen. Furious, the Earl of Surrey ordered the bridge destroyed and began his retreat. During the retreat, the English supply train was attacked by the Scots, and many of the fugitive English soldiers were put to death. Of approximately 8,000 to 12,000 men, the English lost an estimated 5,000 of their forces. Hugh de Cressingham was cut down by the Scots, and various tales surround what they did with his remains. The losses of the Scots were not reported of their estimated 2,300 men. Andrew Moray was mortally wounded at the battle and died 2 months later. The Battle of Stirling Bridge was a victory for the Scots, leading up to the appointment of Wallace as a guardian of Scotland.